Appreciate it. Yeah, that's still some of my Memphis equipment, so we're not quite as far along at Memphis as we are at A&M. But we did do a lot of really good things at a place that hasn't been known for football for a long time. I went there 6 years ago with a guy named Justin Fuente who had great success at TCU, and we started getting into this after our first 2 years of really struggling to move the ball and score points. He's now the head coach at Virginia Tech, still doing a lot of this stuff and doing some great things. I chose to stay at Memphis when he left. I had a daughter that was a junior in high school and just didn't see moving her. She was doing great in volleyball. She was doing great in school. Had a lot of friends, and I'd moved her about 3 or 4 times. And I'd gone ahead and been gone 2 or 3 months. This time was going to be 18 months, a year and a half, and I just thought, wow, I can't do that. So I talked to Coach Fuente, and one thing I'll always admire about him, because I know a lot of people in coaching would have just said, hey, you either come on or you don't have a job. He said, see if you can stay. If you can, great, no hard feelings. If not, I'll hold a spot for you. So I'm forever indebted to him. He's a great man, the head coach at Virginia Tech. I then got the chance to work for 2 years to the guy that's probably 2 years ahead of everybody on this stuff right here, a guy named Mike Norvell, who's the head coach at Memphis, and learned a great deal under him. And now I'm having the wonderful opportunity of working for a guy named Jimbo Fisher, who's one of the top offensive football coaches in the country, and has been for about the past 25 years. He's been a part of 3 national championships. He's won at Auburn. He's won at LSU. He's won at Florida State. He's pretty much stuck with a pro style of attack, but incorporated some things along the way because, as everybody knows, you got to stay on top of the game or you kind of get left behind. You got to stay up with what everybody else is doing. Actually, you got to try to stay ahead of things that other people are doing. But key point, sticking within your beliefs of what you believe wins football games, just adjusting your style a little bit along the way. And that's what we're doing. We're in the process at Texas A&M of taking Coach Fisher's offense and just incorporating some concepts and some things we did at Memphis. A lot of people are doing them also. I will tell you, we did them quite well, and it was not me. I was kind of just along for the ride. Our head coach was really good at it. I learned a lot from him. I was able to put some things in there myself, but that's what I'm going to talk about tonight is at Memphis last year and some of the things we're now doing at Texas A&M. And I'm sure some of you are already doing it, and I'm just going to talk to you about our way of doing it. There's a couple of things that really helped us. Last year, we were second in the country at Memphis in scoring points. We averaged 49 points a game, which in my career has been mind-boggling. I was a head coach at North Texas for 9 seasons. We were pretty good. We won some conference championships, and every game we won was like 21-17. We were ball control. We were play action. We were milk the clock. And, you know, to be quite honest, when you do that and you win, everybody's okay. When you run the ball and play field position and all that and you don't win, you get your ass fired. Now, you can throw it around and last a lot longer in today's society because that supposedly sells more tickets. But we still feel like the best way to do it is to run the ball and to try to win the game. And that's what we've evolved to because defenses do a great job of understanding what you do and stopping what you do. So at Memphis, everybody talked about our quarterback and our receiver who were 2 great players, but we scored 49 points and we had a young man that was second in the nation in yards per carry. Little old small running back from South Panola, Mississippi, probably 5'8", 185 pounds, soaking wet, could absolutely fly. But we didn't run him up the middle 35 times a game, which I have done before. We got him in space. We basically And this I know will sound very simple, but it's everything everybody's tried to do your whole life. We want to run the ball when they're defending pass, and we want to throw the ball when they're up there defending run. Where this evolved is this. You know, I grew up in offensive football where the quarterback came to the line. If the defense lined up a certain way, then you were going to check your play so that you can get into a more advantageous play for you. Take advantage of what they're doing. Okay? That's been going on for a long time. We still do it. Lots of people still do it. Pros do it. You see them up there checking, pointing, doing all this. They're trying to get in the best play for the defense that they're seeing. Okay? Well, what's happened with this run-pass option stuff is, as you all know, quarterback gets up there, he sees something he doesn't like, that safety starts to drop down, they're going to check to a play and go this way. Well, defensive coaches, they work too. They study film too, and they watch, and I know all of you are familiar with quarterback coming up, getting under center and raising up and starting to change, and everybody on defense is doing that. They're changing. So the check and then recheck game started getting a little old because offensively we have that clock on us that if we take too much damn time, they're going to penalize us 5 yards. So it's that cat and mouse game. How can we get in the best situation, run or throw, based on the defense that we're seeing? And checking is still a huge part of our game. Coach Fisher's offense, my offense, we're always wanting to get, hey, we want to run this play, but we want to run it to that front because these are better angles for our linemen, or we want to run it to this side because this is a better leverage or personnel or whatever you want to call it. Always trying to get in the best play. And, hey, we want to block this against these two looks, and if we don't get those two looks and we get this look, this is a better play. We've all been doing that for a really long time. You add in there that extra guy that the defense is always trying to get, and by, in the past, handling that with checks was our only way to really do it. Okay? Flip back a little bit. People have been reading defenses for a long time. My first experience, my father was a very successful high school coach here in the city of Houston. He played at U of H. He was on Bill Yeoman's first staff. He coached college football for a long time and then finished his coaching career back in high school again. So he was at all different levels. And unfortunately, I lost him a month ago. I spoke at a clinic here in Houston, went and spent 2 hours with him, and he passed on to be with my mother that evening. But he taught me a lot about football, and he was a defensive side of the ball. And so getting back to, I guess, the basic strategy of trying to get back in the best play, Bill Yeoman began, okay, we can't block all these guys. Let's read one of them. And for the longest time, he ran the veer, and you ended up in what we call triple option football. Then there was wishbone football, and all of it was predicated on, we can't block all these guys. We're going to read one of these guys, and whatever he does, then we're either going to hand the ball off or pull it, and then we're going to go outside, and whatever they do, we're either going to pitch it or keep it. And to be quite honest, that's what this is. It's a totally different form of option football. We break it down into double option and triple option. Depending on your quarterback, they can really be both. So what I'm going to attempt to do in the next little bit, and then I'm going to save some time in case y'all want to ask questions. And as I'm going, if anybody has a question, please raise your hand. I'm not always the clearest guy, but I'll try to be as clear as I can. Run pass option. It's an extension of our running game. We want to run the ball, but we want to run the ball when it's advantageous for us to run the ball. If they put too many people up there, we're going to read somebody, and we may have to take the ball outside. Now, we have what we call some locked runs that we're going to run. I don't care if they're in a goal line defense, Okay, you're just going to have to bow up and try to get a yard or two. But most of the time, we're trying to get in the best football play without them dictating that you have to throw all the time. Number two, we want to make the defense wrong. Okay, going back to the check, recheck. You get the guy out there that's apexed when you've got a two receiver set like in your one back, and he's standing there looking, and he's either going to play pass or he's going to trigger for run. And if you check to three-step drop, I've seen it 1,000 times, and you ball off the line, well, then all he does is he runs out there and plays the hitch. If you hand the ball off, he's going to fold back inside and play the C or D gap. So what we're doing with a guy like that and other people is we're reading him. And if he stays out there, we can hand the ball off. If he starts to trigger to fold to play the run, that's where all this stuff started. We want to gain the hat or create the one-on-one matchup. By that, what we mean is if we can get a guy to stay back or slow play to where he's not just taking on the ISO, because we don't read just alley guys. We read inside backers. We read backside safeties. We want to find out what's the guy that we normally can't block. And if he starts cheating and coming down, we're going to do something with that. So by gaining the hat, which means we're going to block him with the threat of the pass. He's got to stay back to honor that, or we're going to throw it. Or we get the one-on-one matchup. When do you like to throw the ball? When it's one-on-one. So what's going to happen is as the play is developing, we're looking at a guy. If he comes flying down inside to play the run, okay, he's got to commit. Now he's put a corner one-on-one with a receiver, and we're throwing the ball. The pre-snap and post-snap reads are very important. Pre-snap, I have done a long time, even North Texas days. The last 2 years under Mike Norvell is when we got into the post-snap, and I can tell you it is great stuff. The first time he presented it to me and we looked at it, I thought, we're asking for a lot of turnovers. And he said, no, we're not, because we're going to practice this every day. And we're going to tell the quarterback, if you hand the ball off, there's nothing wrong with it. Okay? It might be better to pull it and throw it. Just make a decision. That's the biggest thing. They cannot be indecisive. And it's kind of like in the wishbone. People used to say, hey, you're riding that fullback. If you're not sure, leave it in there. Let him run the ball. Let him go get 3 or 4 yards. All he's going to get is an arm tackle. So those are some of the points on the RPO game. Your quarterback has to be a really good decision maker, and you've got to live with every once in a while he's going to hand it when he probably should have pulled it. And every once in a while, and the line coaches especially get pissed. The line coaches are the guys that they wish you could read the blocking scheme and say, hey, if we block them good and there's a big old hole, hand it off. If we don't block them very good, pull it and throw it. But we haven't found a way to do that yet. But there's a lot of times when the quarterback pulls it and throws it and you've blocked it perfectly and you got a big old hole, you got to live with it. If you just want to run it, don't tag the option to throw the ball to the play. Just call the running play. Okay, next thing. I'm hoping. Okay. What we have outside, depending on the call, we have a spot, bubble, or a hitch going every time. A spot basically means the outside receiver is going to step up and back, and the inside receiver is going to come off and protect him. He's going to block the most dangerous guy to him, turn the other guy loose. A bubble is what everybody knows. The inside guy is going to bubble back. He's going to catch the ball. The outside guy is going to block for him. Or we throw hitches, okay? But to speed this up, since I messed up time having bad equipment, it all starts with we're going to stick the ball in the tailback's belly, and he may get it or we may pull it. We're going to mesh with the back, and the quarterback has the option to pull the ball, and he has the option to run it. If he pulls, then he's now able to come out and be a runner. And I'm going to get back to this in just a second. You have the option with your quarterback to ride and hand it, pull it and run it, and as you're running it, throw it late. Okay? Then you mesh with the back, same thing. Pull, run, and throw, as I just said. And then the last one I'm going to get to in a minute. The point I was just making there, we had a quarterback last year at Memphis that was our best player. We didn't want him getting hit a whole lot. So most of ours were designed. You're going to hand the ball off, and if you don't like it, you're going to pull it and throw it. We didn't want him, it wasn't triple option for us, it was double option. Now, we had some where we would occasionally let him hand it, run it, or throw it. And if you've got an athletic quarterback, that is unbelievably difficult to defend. You see Clemson doing it with their guys quite a bit, okay? It's all kind of in your decision-making as a coach if you're doing this stuff, and there's some things you have to do. If you want it to be a triple option, we don't block the C gap, okay? If we want it to be a triple option, we don't block the C gap. We read it. So if he comes down tight, we pull it, and we're outside running, and the quarterback may very well run the ball. If we want it to be either a handoff or a throw, we're going to block that C gap, not have that be a read. Now it's going to be a handoff or a pull and throw off a second level defender. Did I explain that correctly? Y'all with me so far? Because I'd like to get into the video of this as quick as I can because it's kind of explains it a little bit better. The last thing I'm going to show you, because I talk to people all the time that they're more drop back teams. They don't really do a whole lot of zone read, power read, things like that. One of the things we found that was one of the best plays, and 3 years ago we had a guy named Paxton Lynch that got drafted in the first round by the Denver Broncos. And he wasn't that great a runner, although he could run the zone read pretty good, and we did a little bit of it. But what happened was we didn't mind running quarterback draw with him. But how many times do you ever call quarterback draw and all of a sudden late in the deal, the defense blitzes and you feel like, well, shit, I got a bad play. Or you call a drop back pass and you're wanting to throw it down the field and they rush 3 and they drop 8. So instead of that guessing game, we're one of the few teams that took the RPO stuff and added it to our drop back passing game. You know, we're up there. Number one, if you run a quarterback draw, one of the things that hurts you is the twist game. The other thing that hurts you, if you're trying to throw the ball down the field at times, you know, the down the field throw is not there and the quarterback's looking for the back. Well, he's chipped and he's hung up in protection and he's not able to get through and get his head around, and by that time the quarterback's sacked. So what we did, and this is one of the best things we did, we made an RPO off a quarterback draw. We would run 4 verticals. We would stack our receivers and run smash. We would throw curl flat. And instead of the back being what we call a check down guy, which is check your protection and go through and turn around, he was a tackle to tackle searcher, which meant he's going to set, if his linebacker blitzed and they brought pressure, he's going to block his protection because quarterback's going to throw the ball anyway. If we're getting blitzed, we're going to throw the ball. But if they play coverage and they've got 4 guys, and you 9 coaches know you can work your ass off, but there's some twists that are just hard to get. That's the tailback second. We're getting the quarterback past the line of scrimmage. So he steps up. If they drop out of there and they're rushing 3 or 4, but they've got a nice twist game going, his protection responsibility doesn't come. He doesn't have a route. So he's just sitting in there and he's looking a B gap, B gap, A gap, A gap. And if a looper or a twister comes free, he's taught to knock the shit out of him, because we at least want to get the quarterback past the line of scrimmage. If the twist is all blocked, if we've got a nice running lane, then the tailback goes down the field and he hunts up the linebacker and goes and blocks him. And so you got a nice quarterback draw play. It's great in the red zone. We threw touchdown passes, and Coach Fuente and them at Virginia Tech, and we are still doing this, where you'll look at it and you'll go, damn, when they call quarterback draw, it's when everybody's dropping out of there. And then when people blitz, they got everybody in blocking, and they're throwing smash or whatever. We're not calling great plays. We're calling the same damn play. But we're just reacting to what the defense does. If they all flush out of there, then the quarterback looks. If he doesn't like his throw, he's going to pull the ball down. We're protected against twists, and we're running our quarterback into a pretty advantageous situation. So those are some of the different styles of run-pass option. I'm hoping to... Okay. First thing, and I get long-winded on certain things and don't always get to everything. Okay, we're cool. This is pretty much as basic as it gets. We're going to run... Let me see if this dotter works. If it does, I can do it better from there. Let me know if I get in anybody's way. Okay, perfect. We're going to run weak side zone. Pretty simple play. A lot of people run it. We're comboing here to here. We're here to here. We're here to here. Our tight end's going to make a little bit of a mistake, which happens sometimes. He's dropping down to linebacker level because he has him man. You're going to see these two blocking this guy. We would actually rather him come off on him and him come to him. But what you're going to see out here is either a bubble or a spot, okay? And what our quarterback is looking at right now is this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Technically, people would say that's a 7-man box. You have to throw the football. Okay? I mean, if you go back to the old count system. But what we're going to do is we're going to say we're going to make it a 6-man box because we're going to read that guy. And so our quarterback coming up right now, and I will say, as we get going, we give this guy freedom as long as we think he's understanding what we want, down and distance, okay? So what he knows out here is he can take a bubble anytime he wants it. This isn't really the greatest situation to take because they're up there pretty tight in man. So what he's going to do, and these are just our terms. If he wanted to, okay, him also included, if he wanted to run like a little quick now screen, he could just take it. Just catch a snap and throw the ball to him and let him go. Or he could just take the bubble or the spot over here. A now screen is to a single guy. A bubble or a spot is to one of these two guys, okay? One of them's catching the ball, the other's blocking. If he felt comfortable with it, they were off far enough, and I'll show you some examples. He wouldn't even have to mess with the fake. He'd just take it and throw it. Get it out there and let's roll. But what he's going to do here is he's going to read it out. He doesn't know that this is that great. He sees this guy playing in the box, but look how wide he is. And again, we want to run the football. So what he's doing is he's doing what we call read it out. He's going to either hand it to him or pull it based on what he does. And if he gets a pull, then he's going to come out here and either keep the ball or throw it to one of these guys, depending on what happens out here. Triple option. Handoff, run, pitch. We even call it. We don't say it's a route. We say, hey, there's your pitch guy. That's who you're pitching it to. So here we come, slow motion. If the end runs up the field, a lot of people coach this 1,000 different ways. Is he square shoulders? Is he shuffling? We teach if he's not running the heel line, which means if he's not coming flat down this line, if we do a good enough job blocking, we should make some yards, okay? The more athletic your quarterback is, I was fortunate enough to coach with one of the all-time great option quarterbacks, Dennis Franchione. And you sit here and everybody says square shoulders and read his eyes and look at his feet and all that bullshit. He told his athletic quarterbacks one thing: if you can pull the ball and get around that guy, pull the ball. If you can't, then you've got to hand it off, which sounds very simple, and it is, but he repped the play every day, showed him the different looks, okay? So here, it's a handoff read. and the guy that we can't block, okay, can't make the tackle either. So that is one good situation, okay? We're executing one part of it right here. This is the handoff, and it's a huge part of what we do. We want to run the ball. By the way, this kid was a 3.5-year starter, played up here at Spring, Texas. Spring High School in Texas, played for Sam Parker, who's now at Tomball. And again, you're running your zone. The tight end would really, on paper, we'd like him on that guy, but we want to secure the closest points to the ball first. So we would say our quarterback's in pretty good shape here. 6 is coming up the field first, so he should not now be able to make this play. So we'll get on to a few other examples here. Okay, here we come back. Now, again, you play with your formations here. We put trips into the boundary. We're playing against a team that did not want to expand into the boundary. These are things we look for, okay? He has the ability right here to take a now to this side. I wouldn't take it. He's got a corner playing tight with a half-field safety that could do that. Take it away? No way. Or he could read this out, and he'd be reading that guy right there, okay? What he's looking out here to see is they don't have anybody expanded. They got a corner. I got a blocker for him. And they got a safety sitting 5, 10, 11 yards deep. He's just going to take this. He's not even going to worry about the run. The only time he'd probably worry about the run in this situation, if it was 3rd and a yard, he might just hand it off. But so you'll know in our blocking scheme, once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 against our 6. It means you have to throw the ball, but not really, because we're going to read that guy right there. Okay? Quarterback did a quick flash and took it, and now we got the ball up the field. Get a kick out, now you got space. All he's doing right here, he's not really reading this. He's not meshing with the back. In his mind, he pretty much knew he was going to throw it, so he's just going to do a little quick flash to try to hold the backers inside and then get it out there as quick as he can. Same game, same exact style, except they're defending it a little different. We've got these two at levels, okay? We've got the same look here, 7 people in the box. Now this safety that was playing half field over here has moved to a head-up position. What they're trying to do is man these two so they can negate this to a 2 or 3 yard gain. But what's happened out here is this guy's in a one-on-one situation with a whole lot of field. He's going to take this. He's either going to throw him a now, a hitch, a quick out, or a slant. Okay? And the quarterback is controlling every bit of this. And for people, you guys know secondary coaches, that's damn tough right there. Okay? That is damn tough right there for a kid to be able to make a one-on-one tackle in the open field with all this space, with no safety to funnel him back inside to. And so again, we're throwing the ball into a pretty good situation right there. And these aren't throws that, this guy signed with the Tampa Bay Bucks just last week, but we've had guys that weren't pro quarterbacks. Most of these throws you see right now, guys you have can make them. Okay, same thing. Now, here we go. We've got Okie look right here. 2 on 2 to this side of the field. He is doing what we call reading it out, okay? Reading it out means this. He doesn't really like the now screen. This guy could be a factor. This guy is really tight, okay? They've still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the box, And up here, it's a little tight. It's a little hairy. So what he's going to do is he's going to read it. We can block him. We can block him. These two can block that one and that one. These two can block that one up to that one. We're reading that guy. Okay? We're reading that guy. So he's going to either hand the ball off or pull the ball based on what he does first. So here he comes. That's what's called running the heel line. He is coming directly down the heel line. He is taking the back. That's what we call a pull read. He's pulling the ball. Now he's coming outside. Now the force defender sees the quarterback running. He is a little undisciplined. He starts to come inside. When he runs inside, our receiver should climb to this guy. If this guy right here would have played heavier out here, he would have blocked him and turned him loose. He's got to block the most dangerous of those two guys. So the quarterback has pulled it. We've got a guy pulling him up. He throws the ball outside, and we're running. Guys, it's triple option football is what it is. I mean, basically, you know, people used to talk about wishbone and triple option. The defense has to play their assignments perfectly. This guy overcommitted to the run, which he didn't really need to, so it allowed us to have a one-on-one situation outside. That's a flip throw for 16 yards. Most guys, you know, they actually got a good defense. They got the linebacker in position where our tight end didn't have good leverage on him. But even still, because we have a blocker for the most dangerous, and then we got to outrun the other one, we still have a positive play.
Coach, where are you teaching the quarterback to put the ball at? On his shoulder or on his body?
On his front hand. Okay? Now, here's just starting from day one. We've got him in a slot. We are going to stay flat. We're not going to lose ground. We're back about a yard and a half from the line of scrimmage. Are you talking about the bubble throw?
Yes, sir.
He's going to just step flat, and the ball's going to be thrown at this upfield hand.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if we have any pictures of it here, and he has to mirror the quarterback, because if the quarterback takes the ball and starts running down the field, he's got to stay with him, but he's got to stay behind him, because once he crosses the line, if he's going to throw it to him, it's got to be a little bit of a lateral. As long as the quarterback's still behind the line, he can go ahead and be in front of him. And so you guys know we practice these throws a lot. Same thing right here. So you'll know, these guys defend this pretty good right here. This is about how you'll see people defend it. Okay? Probably a pull. You know, we've handed that before and had an arm tackle and gotten 2 or 3 yards. But, yes, this is a pull. Here he comes. We don't want our tight end to come inside for this guy. He's coming around to secure that linebacker. As soon as he sees the tackle on him, he should go to the safety. Okay? And now our quarterback's coming outside. The safety comes to take him, so he's going to go ahead and throw it. Okay, that guy's got to make a decision and block the most dangerous. And these guys have defended this pretty well. This is what they're going to try to do, and then you've just got to make a guy miss. For us, we wished our tight end, you'll see him as he steps around. Steps, he's coming in to get this linebacker, and the linebacker's coming straight ahead. This is a very hard thing to coach. Don't go in to get him. Just don't be in a hurry. Come forward, come forward. If he runs to you, take him. If he stays inside, flatten for the free.
Coach, is he going around this time because the guy's more head up with him?
Because it's a 7 technique. Yes, sir. 6 or 7 technique. Any kind of reduced front, he should go around. Yes, sir. I'd like to get to some things here where we're not bubbling as much. Here the quarterback keeps it. Okay? Oh, and another thing for you guys that run the zone, We teach the tailback because of the fact that the quarterback may run the ball. If the ball is handed, you're running the zone. Go be a football player and be a zone runner. If the ball is pulled, he has what we call a ball to backer mentality. As soon as he feels the ball pulled, he should roll right back on his track and go try to block that guy to whoever shows up here, which is usually that guy. It's just a little thing that instead of just standing around watching or just running up in there and stopping at the line, you roll back as if you've got the ball, keep your fake alive. See, he almost gets there. And he won't get there a lot, but sometimes if he gets there, that's the block that springs him for a long run. So he's just going to roll back like he's got the ball and then accelerate and go try to get a piece of this guy. And to be honest, the quarterback could have thrown it to him, but I think the down and distance dictated for him to keep it and get a first. And so we're in good shape. Yes, sir. I'm going to speed up because there's some other good ones. This is to a single receiver. This is a play Gus Malzahn has made famous. You saw him beat Alabama on it 3 years ago. Same thought process. I'm going to read that guy. He's going to come off and block him and then throw him. Okay? So the quarterback's coming out. It's a pull. Now this guy comes off thinking, I got to take care of the quarterback. There goes your receiver. He's got to be an actor. He's got to sell it. He's got to make him think he's blocking and then pull it and throw it. It's a very hard play to defend. I want to try to get to a couple of these. And guys, these aren't, John Elway throws. Let me see what I got here. That's another little now screen. You've already seen that. I'm going to get to some more down the field since I got limited time. Okay, this is double slant. We're going to block the C gap. Instead of the tight end arcing outside, we're not reading this guy this time. This is more geared for a quarterback you might not want running the ball. Who's the guy that always gets in the way of the damn slants? This guy first, or he runs out there and he runs out there. So instead of dropping back to throw a slant, we're going to stick the ball in here and see if we can get him to trigger inside. So what the quarterback is doing is while he's meshing with him, his eyes are on him. And then we've got slant, slant in behind it. Here he comes, he triggers, pull it and throw it in behind him. Good red zone play. If you like to throw slants and you get worried about that overhang guy getting in your way, stick the ball in there. If he stays out there, hand some bitch off. Same exact play right here. Okay? They teach this guy, line up halfway, read run or pass. If he sees the quarterback drop straight back, he's going to run out here and play pass. If he sees the ball handed off, he's going to run in there and tackle. He's seeing possibility of handoff right here. Now the ball's been pulled. He's trying to react, but he's going to be too late. Get those two slants thrown in there.
Coach Dickey,
Yes, sir.
are you okay with the quarterback keeping his feet hot, or he's okay being stationary on that?
We keep him stationary on this. If we're going to block the C gap and he knows he's going to either hand it or throw it and not run it, he's going to keep his feet stationary. Same thing here. Okay? This is just a different route combination for this game. He's going to run a go. He's going to run an out. This guy is so worried about getting drilled on this route. We got run action coming and he's running outside. Quarterback's reading him. It's a handoff. Same play. Guys staying outside, hand the ball off. Okay? The whole theory is get his ass out here and make him stay deep. Okay? Now, run the ball. Block the ones you can block. Don't let the other ones be a factor. It's against UCLA. This is a little red zone gimmick. We throw a lot of bubbles. When we bubble, this guy over him drives to the bubble. So we're now going to throw a bubble with a slant in behind it. Still reading it. I want to get to one post at least so y'all can see it, if y'all don't mind, if you'll bear with me. Oh, this is just what we're faking a stop, a spot route, and throwing a slant wheel. We hit the slant right here. Okay? And if that hadn't come open, what do you think the fade would have done? But it all starts with the threat of the run up inside. All right. This is stretch play, G play, outside run play. Yes, we all know we can run this and we can go inside and crack this guy, he'll replace. Or you go block this guy, he's screaming down inside to play the run, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to run the stretch or the G, and our quarterback is reading him. We're going to run a glance post with this guy. Eyes are on him. The thing you have to do backside is you got to give him up a little bit, okay? You got to give him up because you want to lock this backside tackle. So now you're going to read this, throw or hand off him. Here he comes across, he commits, there's your post in behind it. Yes, sir. Same thing. Here's out of a two-back set. Same thing. We're running a zone play. We've got two backs. We got blockers for him, and him. But we can't block that guy. Okay? Here, they're going to play a loose 9. We're going to come back and kick him out. And this guy's going to come flying up and sit in the hole. We got to make him get out of there. Throw it in behind him. And instead of guessing as a play caller as to whether he's going to play too high and stay too high, or whether he's going to drop down and be basically the C-gap defender, you let him decide. On the snap, pretty easy read. He's playing run. Throw it in behind him. See where he's at now? He's not up there in the C-gap. So now we can run in the C-gap. Same thing. Should get more yards out of this. Backside post, another one. We're running a tackle trap, okay? They have shifted everybody over because of the bubble game. They're going to drop this safety down weak. If he drops down, we're going to throw the post in behind him. If he stays deep, we're going to have a great run and play to this side. He's dropping down, throw it in behind him. This is just him and the receiver, red zone deal. We got a one-on-one matchup. He took it, gave him a fade instead of a now because they're pressing. Long as the guy doesn't have help over the top, we're okay with this. Yes, sir. This play,
I heard you speak earlier this year about now you when you break down film, you look and see when the defense don't blitz. What was the play that you run down there? You said the goal line, you find out what down they don't blitz.
Oh, we have it's a drop back play where we put the back to the end of the boundary and we've got a tight end flanker and we run a dig, a post, and he runs an aggressive wheel. Is that the one you're talking about? Sir, it's a good play. Safeties are playing deep. Okay, he's just taking a hitch. Now, so you'll know, if something would have happened, this guy runs up late, this guy comes and squats late, you don't have to check or change the play. You just hand some bitch off. Because to be honest, if he'd have handed this off right here, I'll show it to you from the end zone. He chose to throw it, which we're great with, but the safeties are deep. If he hands that off, he's going to block him. We got to outrun him, and we're rolling back this way. We've still got a good running play. Yes, sir. Stack alignment, just little stuff like that. You know, it's stuff you can play with. Four verts. This is the quarterback draw. And we're just running fades and outs. Okay? The tailback should have knocked the dog shit out of that right there in case the quarterback needed to run. Okay? But this is a quarterback draw because you see he ain't running no route. He's going to block this linebacker. But in theory, what we would have wanted for you line guys, we got a quarterback draw called. If they've got this covered, that's a hard twist to pick up. We would have wanted this tailback, and he's 6'2", 230 pounds. We would have wanted him to knock the dog shit out of this guy. And basically, these two guys just double him so the quarterback can get back through the line of scrimmage. It's a good little play, and it protects your quarterback. Same exact play. Every bit of this is a quarterback draw with a route combination outside. Same play. Quarterback, we got curl flat. Quarterback's checking to it. We're running curl flat with a quarterback draw. Back's helping on the twist, and we get it thrown. Center should hold in there just a little bit more. Last one. Run the ball when it's in the best, most advantageous situation to run the ball. Okay? Technically, the back has that guy in protection. He should be out here blocking him. He came from so far he didn't seem. They covered us pretty well right here. Quarterback didn't like it. You know, when they come from that far, sometimes they can't be a factor, but we really would have liked for him to block him. Our guard is doing a good job kicking out. He's coming to take this guy. There is nobody for the quarterback. And he runs a 5-2. Hope I didn't get you too confused. I will tell you, if you get into this kind of stuff, it's not just those plays. It's your plays you run. If you're going to take the time to teach your quarterback, hey, we can't block that guy. And this is how we're doing it at A&M right now. We handle them two ways. We either change the play or we read him. And it's really the same guy all the time. This guy's going to keep us from running the ball over here. Well, let's run over there. Or let's read him, and if he stays there, throw behind him. If he backs up, hand the ball off. So It's pretty simple. It does take a lot of time as far as working on that mesh and teaching your quarterback. It's okay to hand the ball off. In fact, you got to coach him on, hey, this is when we want it handed. We got a great run here. So hope that was helpful. I can stick around for a few minutes if anybody's got some questions, but thank you very much for your time.